Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working with High John the Conqueror root. So this is our jar of High John, or as my grinder would say, hello John. We have gotten some shaved recently, however, we still have quite a bit left. So this is a good one for all manner of things. It is a root. This is technically what you want to look for when getting a High John the Conqueror. This is a whole form. This is kind of small compared to a lot of them, but this is the whole form. And then we've got this one that we've been working away at for quite a while. Getting there. But we're going to be shaving that. I'm just going to put this one off here because we're not going to work with that one. So, because this gets messy, I'm going to give us a nice little extra board. Now, for this kind of thing, I know a lot of people are going to be like, it's ceremony. You're going to have a nice knife. Now, knife safety for starters. So this is technically one of our ceremonial blades. It's not very sharp. It's not really sharp at all. This is bone. This is a nice bone one. Alligator. However, if you don't have a ceremonial knife, or your ceremonial knife, like a lot of them, is not all that sharp, store-bought is fine. So, we do have a kitchen knife. Works totally fine, especially if you do end up having to chop for things like that. But for this, I might actually see if we can chop some of this. Now, be careful. It is a knife. It is sharp. Knife safety, always away. Always away. Always keep your fingers away from the edge. I'm sure people are going to ding me because I do this. That's honestly because my wrists are not quite right. They're a little odd, they're a little off. So it helps with stability in my wrist. Say weak baby wrists. Or I'm noodle wrists. So, for this, let's see if I can cut into this a little bit. Or if we're just going to be shaving. Gentle. Ah! Got a nice big piece. Alright. So, we did have, now I'm sure it's going to be a while until you see his video. We did have Captain come in and, we did have Captain come in and do some shaving and some whittling for us. He's got a very nice blade that he uses. Like, I want to try and get it on some of these edges, but it's difficult to get in there without risking my fingers. So, I might just have to do some whittling, some shaving, some more of this. However, maybe I can get some bigger pieces here for you. Let's see. So, knife safety, always, first and foremost. When we're doing stuff like this, always safety first. The second thing, with High John, it is a root, so it's a little soft compared to many other woods that you would expect. It does feel woody. It feels woody, but it is in fact root, so it's a little bit soft. It's got all kinds of uses. You use it for all different kinds of beneficial stuff. You can carry the whole conquer around for like luck and things like that. It used to be something that old gamblers would carry if they could get their hands on one. It's got a lot of masculine energy. Let's see if I can chop some of this. Chop. Oh, chop. Again, be careful. Safety. Trying to be super gentle. Which, honestly, sometimes, like, if you've got a tough wood, you can kind of expect what beans you're going to have to give. But with a softer wood, you do need to be careful because it'll have some spots that are softer than others. So you do have to be sure to have good control over your blades. always be cautious, be careful. Don't be waving your knives around. If you've got other people, like if you're working with multiple people in close stations, always be sure you've got a little safety bubble so that if someone else starts doing something crazy, like swinging their knives around, don't do that. Then you've got a protective safety bubble if they start doing stupid stuff. All right, get this here. Oh, okay. Get some of that in the dish. All right, we're already getting a good amount. And this stuff a little bit does go a long way if you are using it in more small form like this, where we're adding a small amount to the candle, because too much can be, well, too much. So you do want to be very, very cautious of that. All right. And we are doing a weird combination of whittling, shaving, and chopping. Is the best description of what this is, because you can shave a little bit, shave it down. If it was a smaller knife, I could whittle a little bit better, get my thumb in the back, but I'm actually using my knuckle here to press and to help keep my fingers up and out of the way. Knife safety. It's also why I'm not really paying attention to the focus of things, because I am trying to keep my eyes on the blade. The last thing we need is injury. So just be sure to be very, very careful when doing this. And I don't necessarily want to keep you guys too long, because I know that this is something very different that we're trying out here, which is basically just breaking down some of our products. I know we've got like grinding, which is doing the full blends, but this is a bit more just taking something in a whole form and shrinking it down, which we might also do with dragon's blood. We actually have two now. We have 2 resin balls of dragon's blood. They're very, very nice. Oh, this part is a little solid. But we do have some solid form large resin, actually. Let's see if I can pull one out of this box here, just to show you what I mean by large form resin. So, hi John, comes in these big chunks, but this is, let me see if I can get it open. Woo! Look at this. Be careful not to get too much on here. We'll have overpowered. Hi, John. So that is a resin ball. This entire thing is dragon's blood resin. The whole thing. And I know I've got small hands, but like, look at that. It's very dusty. That happens. So these are harvested, and when they collect them, I'm trying not to get dust. When they are collected, they are basically the wet resin, the fresh resin, is put into a sack. And then that sack is kind of twisted until it's tight. And that is how they make the resin balls. They dry them that way. So I've got 2 of those. I got 2 big boys that are about the same size. And I've also got, I got some chunks of amber resin. So that's super exciting. Those are really the ones, and then Hi John are the ones that we do in large form so far, where we break them down ourselves. Obviously, with flowers, it's a little bit easier to just, like, here's some flowers. If I ever have to do lemongrass again, you guys are definitely going to see that. It's a process. And I think the process works best if you actually cut the fresh lemongrass first. Because once it's already dried, because you then have to like dehydrate it and dry it and prepare it. Once it's already dried, it becomes so stiff and so solid. If we do a grinding video for Van, you'll get to see a little bit of the lemongrass and how much of kind of a pain it is and the different ways that I cut it the first time to try and get different, just to see like what would work best in drying it. Because obviously, you know, a lot of folks don't like to share their techniques. So it's just kind of like, well, okay, now I'm going to figure out how to do it. Which is why I actually, so I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to shift that over. But, so I have, because this was recommended to me by someone, I have what they called their herb Bible, and for what I work with typically, it is absolutely become one of my herb Bibles. This is a fantastic book. It's got not only different like what you can use together, it also talks a little bit about the actual like botanical and medicinal uses for some of the herbs that are in here. As it is Hudon, that does mean that it is typically what is or would be found in the Americas, which does mean that it does have a lot of Native American work as well, like the different herbs that they would use for stuff like that. So that's kind of cool that some of that's in here because it all got incorporated. So this is our herb Bible. Now we do have other books because we like to cross-reference, but that one personally, that is my herb Bible. That's what I highly recommend if you're looking for information, if you're looking for a place to start. I did get someone who recommended that. And then, of course, because, you know, you don't want to get everything from one place, I do like to cross-reference with other stuff. But, like, if I'm out in the yard and I'm like, oh, what's this? And I find out that it's, like, white snake root. I'm like, oh, heck, I think that's in the book. What can I use it for? You know, is it something that would be beneficial? Joe Pye gravel root. That's another one that we found in the yard. We've got poke or poke, P-O-K-E, poke. It is technically toxic, so you have to be very careful when you're working with it. If you are going to eat the leaves, you believe it's spring, and you have to blanch them. Like hard blanch, like 15-minute minimum blanch. So there's stuff like that. But they're in the book. So you get kind of nice information on local plants. The plantains are in there. Oh, it also has the actual like botanical name, like scientific botanical name. So you can be like, oh, this is specifically what I need. Because you'll get things like calendula, which is pot marigold or like official marigold. But then there's a lot of other things called marigold that have a different scientific name. So you do have to be sure if you're looking for calendula, you can't just get any old marigold. You have to make sure you're getting the right one. So things like that where I can be like, okay, mandrake, since it's a book in the Americas, it's an Americas book. Are we talking about American mandrake, also known as mayapple? Again, be careful with it. Or are we talking about like actual mandrake, English mandrake that typically would grow like in cemeteries and stuff like that and looks very different. So it's one of those where you can see, here's the scientific name. Cool, that's what we're working with. That's what I need to look for. I don't think either of those you can actually get and look for. First of all, if you're doing something that requires those, please be careful. Please be careful. There are a lot of things out there that you'll see where it's just like, oh yes, it's an invisibility potion. It's a flying potion. Not dissing anybody that, you know, wants to do those kinds of things, but just be careful. Don't go into your local, like, alchemical shop or, you know, whatever place and go in there and be like, I need datura. I need this. I need that. If you're using the old school names, first of all, they're going to know that you got that, you know, spell working from a weird place. Second of all, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Some of them are okay. Some of them, like, they'll know what you're talking about, but there are some places that if you ask them for certain things, they may refuse you service because they are dangerous items that, in their dried form, these places are not allowed to sell. Like, you are not allowed to sell them. You're better off going to, like, a gardening shop and picking up foxglove, you know? Like, be careful. Which, that is one of the ones that Like foxglove is a big one. Nightshade, you have to be careful with. Monk's hood, stuff like that. Like, don't go to your local shop and ask for those kinds of things. They aren't going to have them, and you may not be able to shop at that place again if you're looking for dangerous ingredients like that. So just don't. First of all, don't. Double check what you're working on if you're going to be using dangerous stuff like that. Another big thing, a lot of that stuff is like, drink it. Don't drink it. Don't. Just don't. You know, do your due diligence, do your research. Don't just look at one book. I think that's what the gist of what I'm getting at is, don't just look at one book and go, this is what I'm using. This is my Bible. Get some other references. Get a couple of other books. Look up what the ingredients are. You know, like if it says you need to use bat's head, just make sure that you get bat's head, like the nut. It's a nut that looks like a bat's head. It's got like little weeny things on it. It's very cute, actually. It's a cute little nut, but just, you know, understand that you're not actually looking for a bat's head. You're not actually looking for newt eyes. Those aren't what you need. It is something else entirely. You know, and a lot of this stuff, like the books won't tell you, you gotta get it ethically. You know, especially if you're looking at something that's got roots in like Native American tradition, you can't be going out plucking eagle feathers. They have to be like given to you, gifted to you. They have to be found. You can't just be pulling feathers. You know, don't pull feathers out of a peacock. It's unethical and rude. And you're gonna upset the spirits. And my high John is getting very small, and I'm gonna need a smaller knife. I need a tiny. Oh, that's actually working. But yeah, just be careful. You know, be sure to double check. We have access to like all of the world's knowledge. You know, use it. Sure, some of this stuff may only be found in a book, but if you find some good books, you know, and be sure to maybe ask your community. If you've got a community, if you don't have a community, maybe, you know, there's places you can look. I think there's even some Discord servers. I know I'm part of at least one. Very good folk. Very good folk. But yeah. Find yourself a mama witch. Or a daddy witch. That just sounds dirty though. But find yourself a practicing parent. Learn, that's one way to learn. You can also just books. But, you know, make sure that you're not using all books by the same author. Get a variety. Although Ironwood is a good one that I like their stuff. I really like their stuff. They do good work. So, of course, that's one of those things where I'm like, no, my reference is the same person. I need to find a different author. And you're like, oh, I found one. And it's like, oh, translated. It's same author. So, yeah, just look around. There are a couple people that you will find. You do have to be a little wary of. No offense to certain authors. They just can get a little different. And then of course there's also just, you know, if you don't like the way the book is written, like I've gotten some books that it's just like, it's great material, I love the information, but it's a slog, and it's just so hard. And if you're brain tired after reading the book, you see if there's a different book out there, a different author on the same topic. Like, you can still get the book even if it's not necessarily, I mean, if it's difficult for you to read, then definitely, yeah, look for another book. If you're having trouble understanding from that author, don't get dissuaded by that. Just see if you can find another author. See if you can find someone who can maybe ask you questions, like someone who can translate that book for you from like academic to practical. Like, for me, I prefer practical stuff. So I don't like books that are, like, theory heavy. Especially since I am more on, like, the herbalism side of things. like and practicing. I got a lot of stuff that's, you know, practical. Stuff that you gotta be careful with. Don't. There's some things that they recommend to do in these books, and sometimes you just don't. Just don't do it. Ugh. We're so close. We're so close, but not close enough. Okay. I'm getting to that point where it's not that I'm frustrated, but I'm just kind of like, maybe it's time to take a break. Maybe it's time to take a break. We've got a lot shaved. We've got a lot so far. We're probably good. I still haven't broken into my big boy yet. Do love my big boy though. Alright. There it goes. Sorry, that was an excited yip, not a danger yip. That's an excitement yip. Oh no, I breathed. I forgot that breathing is dangerous. It might be time. It might be time. This might be enough. We might be good. We got a lot taken off of that. You'll have to look back at the beginning and see comparison from that. How much smaller it is. Alright, so I think that is the sign. We've decided to breathe life into everything here. Okay, let's get all this in here. But we got a lot done. I'm sure you're gonna see the captain's video later, because he actually did the first half, so everything is out of chronological order. And I know we've still got a couple of grinding videos that we're gonna be getting out from him, and I think I've actually got a shameless plug for you guys for him next week. He's got some stuff that he really likes to talk about. They're his favorite things. Okay, let's make another mess. And get messy. Make mistakes. We figured it out. And now we've forgotten again. By we, I mean me, the royal we. But, little some John. There is that. We're gonna have to clean our station here, but we got quite a bit done. So, I think that is gonna get that knife out of here. That should be good. Just stay over there and think about getting clean today. So that is gonna be it for us here tonight. If you enjoy this video, or if you enjoy some of the other content that we've got, feel free to hit that bell, give it a big old ding. If you liked this video in particular, definitely feel free to give us a like. That way we know that you enjoyed this, especially since this is something new and different that we're trying out here for you. I mean, if this isn't your thing, that's okay. We've got other stuff. If you want to see grinding videos, we got that kind of stuff. We've got some bracelet making stuff, which I know I need to get you more, but I didn't want to overdo you guys because I like to do fun stuff like this too. We've always got our weird shameless plugs if you want to see some of the products that we have available. So you are welcome to check out our current selection on those if this wasn't what you were looking for. But hopefully we'll see you next time.